because we know that you could cancel at any time, and it's never happened, and we don't want you to be the first person when that happens for us. This is our buyer brokerage agreement. In Georgia, there's two types of people that buy houses. There's customers and clients. Customers we don't work with. We only work with clients. And how you become a client is we have a buyer brokerage agreement, and it talks about what we're obligated to do for you. It talks about our fee here is 3.5%. We also have an administrative fee, and 0.5% goes to our broker that's paid by the seller at closing, right? Paid by the seller at closing. And then we have a protection period of 90 days. So if anything were to happen and all of a sudden, sometimes clients have played games in the past where like, hey, Anthony, well, I want to cancel my deal with you. And then they have their cousin write an offer for them and show them properties that we already showed them. And then they go up on a contract. Like that's not, we like to do business transparent and just be above board. So there's a 90-day protection period on that. But remember, you can cancel at any time. So basically, this is written by all the lawyers of Georgia to protect you as a consumer. And it's just lawyer talk. I'm going to send this over to you for signature. And then, like I said, I've already signed it. And then you just need to sign as well so you can become a client of ours. All right. Here's a big deal for us. We kind of talked about this. Your referrals help save kids' lives. So remember, we're on a mission every single year, Bianca, to raise $25,000 to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Like you have small kids. I hope nothing ever happens to them. But if it does, please take them to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Like it's the #1 hospital for kids on this planet. It's just unreal. I love supporting this worthy cause for years and years and years. So just remember, here's a question back to you. Like, who do you know at your job, your church, family, or friend that either owns a home that might want to buy a home? I just want you to, when I send you, to just look in your cell phone and just give us 3 names of people we can help. Can you do that for us?
Of course.
Awesome. And this is our affiliated business disclosure. Basically, all this says is I own Guaranteed Home Loans, 100% owner. I'm just disclosing that to you that I'm 100% owner of that company. And so it's just your acknowledgement that you understand that. All right. And so we've already kind of talked about, you said you had around $40,000 saved up in your 401 in your savings account, right?
Yeah, so obviously I'm not looking to empty out savings for my home, but I am willing to sacrifice to get what I really want. I know the market is a little high. Like you said, my biggest concern is just kind of is I'm not wanting to buy a forever home. I'm very much so the person who foresees myself being in this home for maybe 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
And I'm just worried about flipping upside down, and I'm worried about Atlanta and this area tanking like it did about 10 years ago. So that's my biggest concern. So when I start to, so that's my biggest concern. So I'm like, I don't know enough about real estate to know what's trending and where we're headed. But I mean, that's my biggest fear.
Okay, so let me help you with your biggest fear, and thanks for sharing that, by the way. So when in 08, 09 is the market you're talking about when everything went under, right? So I owned 8 mortgage companies at that time, and what was happening is anybody could qualify for a mortgage, whether they had a job or not. So there was a lot of loans out there, I mean tons of loans, where people had no job, just good credit, and then we would give them a loan for a home. What's totally different about the market now is, I would say 98% of the loans that are done are people like you that have W-2s and pay stubs. So the only way a market would crash like that is if everybody lost their jobs, because we're not really giving loans to people. We don't give loans to people just for the credit score anymore. Like we do self-employed loans, but they still have to provide tax returns, bank statements showing that they make a lot, whatever amount they make. But 98% of the loans are they're just cookie cutter loans now. So that whole market got cut out. And so you don't have, unless everybody loses their job, and right now we know there's a employee shortage, right? Because there's a job surplus going on out in the marketplace. So it's gonna be very hard for that to happen here. And in Metro Atlanta, we are the number 8 market, number 8 city in the United States for real estate. So think about all the cities, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cities across the U.S. We're number 8 in the whole country. So our market is extremely strong, right?
I got you.
Yeah.
So my biggest concern is like, not my biggest concern, but like another thing with that would be, I guess I was thinking of, because I have like friends and stuff, and like a lot of them, their homes are foreclosing because of the increased price, so it's allowing, you know, taxes and stuff like that to go up. So they can't really afford, especially if they have multiple homes, the increased mortgage payments, right? So I'm like, should I wait for a year and try to see if they're gonna begin to foreclose? So that's where I'm at. So I'm still 50% at wanting to know, should I go forward now? Should I wait a year?
So
should I wait?
I'll answer that, and I'll just be 100% honest with you. Now is always the best time to buy. Why? Because if you wait, the same home that you were going to buy for $300,000 next year, you're going to pay $318,000 for it, right? Because appreciation goes up here in Metro Atlanta. It's not going down. There's too many people moving here. Your friends that may be facing foreclosure because they got overextended buying multiple homes, like you don't really know their personal financial situation, why that happens, but it doesn't happen where you have a house and all of a sudden your taxes get doubled. Like that doesn't happen, right? And people will be going crazy out here in the marketplace if that happens. It may incrementally go up, and you know, you can always write letters to have them reassess your properties, whatever, but pretty much whatever you're buying is, I mean, I've lived in this home that I'm in since 2009. My taxes went up in 14, 15 years, you know, maybe $500 a year, maybe from the first time I bought it, right? So it's not like it's been something that went crazy in the marketplace. So
not to cut you off, but I was just speaking specifically over the hyperinflation during COVID, where it was just basically jumped up super.
Okay.
So that's what I was saying. Like from that specific spike, I just was thinking that eventually it would cause a crash, because like we were just like that was my thought process. But I totally get what you're saying, and that's what I'm constantly battling in my head is to go ahead and get it because of the way it's going up, you know what I mean? So like that's what I'm constantly battling in my head. I'm just very hard to persuade.
My job's not to persuade you. My job's to give you information because you're a very smart young lady. You know, that's like you're saying, okay, the glasses you have on. Okay, if they're going to cost you more next year, but you need them today, why would you wait next year to get it, right? So, let's talk about what happened during COVID, because this is what really happened. Home sellers were pricing their home at market value. Buyers were coming in the market, jumping the price through the roof, overpaying, right? Sellers, when we put their home in the market, they're like, Anthony, this is what it's worth according to the comps. This is what I want to sell it for. And then buyers are coming off from $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 more because remember the stock market was going up during COVID. Everybody was making 20, 30% on their money. Everybody had all this extra money. And a lot of out-of-state